everyone? Welcome back to JP's Budget Collecting and a weekday primetime cash or trash. I don't know what's happening. Things are happening. So, and my man Unruly in here tailgating earlier. Just like a minute ago. So appreciate it, Unruly. So he just got here just before I did. My man GT Key is here. What is going on? I thank you for joining me. So yeah. So this was a weird week. Well, before we get into that, a reminder for anyone who is new here, what is Cash or Trash? It is where I look at the hot comics of this week and give predictions sure to go wrong for my look back list I do in 6 months. So if you don't know, on Saturdays, every week, I do a look back list where I look back at the hot comics from 6 months ago and see how they performed in the market since. And then typically on Sundays, I do a Cash or Trash prediction show where I make predictions about the hot comics of that week. So this week was a bizarre week because CBSI did not put out a list. The only other times they've missed putting out a list is usually like around Thanksgiving or Christmas. And most of the time they even make Christmas. So this is the first time I can remember a long time they didn't put out a list. Don't know what's going on over there. So I didn't have anything on Saturday. Like if you guys have noticed in 23 or on Sunday, in 23 this year, like Tom used to put his list out usually Saturday night or Sunday morning, and I would respond to it. So I'd have Tom's video and I'd have the CBSI list. Well, Tom hasn't made before Sunday night all of 2023. He put his video out last night, which has been more typical on Mondays. I haven't been waiting for Tom. I've been just picking some books off the Key Collector Trending 20, which he uses. But he didn't have a list out on Sunday either. So I didn't do anything yesterday or 2 days ago. Last night, he put out the video. There was no CBSI list. And I just happened to be sort of sitting here and didn't have much going on. I was like, all right, I'm just going to do it. Most weeks, this would not work to do it now. But we're going to do it this week. So don't know if this will happen. We have more people joining us. We got Manic. What is going on? Evening. On a school night. I know. On a school night. No, that was not my intention. I don't know what we're going to do going forward. We'll see. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Nuts, what's going on? He's got his popcorn. He's looking. What's St. Patty's Day? There you go. There you go. People are in the cup and didn't get stuff done. There you go. Deadly Venom asked the question that this guy has been prodding me with doing for a while, which is why not use another list like Cover Price? Don't subscribe to Cover Price. I don't know if you can get their list without subscribing or not. I've never really used Cover Price. I probably should, because then I could get values back in my CLZ, which I haven't had forever. But B, I've been doing these lists for 4 years. So I hate to just switch, but it may be coming to that. It may ultimately be coming to that. That I'm just gonna have to like reevaluate what list I look back on and what list I make predictions on going forward. I am slow to change. So we'll see. I have met Ryan. Ryan and I met at C2E2 last year. Seems like a super nice guy. I met Tom last year very briefly. I don't think either one of them really knew who I was, but that's okay. But that requires me to do more, and I'm lazy, so that's not going to happen. So there you go. All right, so we only have 10 books to talk about tonight. There's my man, Sir Gabe Stances. What's going on, Marcus? I got to meet this guy on Friday, finally in person. That was awesome meeting you finally at the one day I could make it to PlanetCon. My life has been sort of kicking. Well, the reason my life has been kicking my ass is sort of the reason I had time last night to do this and put this video forward today. But yeah, the tally. I don't know what the tally is at this point, but it's life a lot. JP, not really holding this up. If you watched my Tigers play Princeton the other day, yeah, that's what's going on in life right now. But we'll figure it out. We'll keep moving. Ryan is good people. Yeah, I've always had. Like I said, he was super nice to me. So, all right, with that, we are going to get into this week's books. Oh, wait, I haven't done the breakdown of what I'm doing here. So, for anybody that's new, what we do here is I'm making predictions about what I think is going to happen with the hot books of this week, what I think you should do. And so, how do I make those predictions? I throw the books into categories. We got straight cash, homie, books I think are going to continue to increase in price going forward. Now, most of the time, this is more of a long-term discussion on straight cash, homie. There's very few books that I think, if they're hot at the moment, 6 months from now are going to be even hotter. Some of that depends on timing and that kind of stuff, but generally this is pretty rare. But it might be a book that's just a straight cash long-term book that maybe at the moment you want to be patient on, but long-term it's definitely going to be straight cash. We got our worth it books that are probably priced about right. If you buy it at this value, you're probably not going to lose any money. You might not gain much, but you're not going to really lose anything. We got the flip side of that, the I'll Be Backs. These are books that are not way overpriced, but if you're patient, you can probably find a deal. We got our It's a Trap. These are books that are going to drop 30, 40, 50%. We have a couple of these every week. Seems like definitely want to try to avoid the traps at all costs. These are books that are hot because of a specific reason that does not have long-term staying power. And then that leads us into our dumpster fires, which are books that are going to drop 60, 70, 80 plus %. Same thing. These are books that are hot for a reason that is not sustainable, that are at values that are just not sustainable. So those are our categories. Occasionally we'll throw in a, come on, man, like what are people even thinking? Throw in a, yeah, whatever, because the book's not really even that hot. Why are we even talking about it? And last but not least, sometimes when we have a character that doesn't make sense that people are chasing, yeah, it doesn't matter who they are. So let's see what we got in the comments. Yes, it was awesome. I have to definitely make it. Hopefully, we'll see. Hopefully, we'll get it where I can actually come up and stay. Last couple of years, I have not been able to make that happen, but hopefully, maybe next year we'll make it happen, or at least maybe at FoundCon we'll get to hang out a little more. Big Polish guy, what is going on? Hello, Bronze Page. What is happening? Glad you were here. So let's get into this. 10 books. That's all we got. And I can get out of here hopefully before John and Omni X-Men, because, I don't like to. I forgot my friend Kavi was going right now with an original art hour. So I'm already overlapping with a friend. I don't like to do that, but yeah, I forgot about it. So first up, we got Amazing Spider-Man 298. This is hitting the list because of CGC signing. They announced a David Michelini? I don't know exactly how you pronounce his name. I'll be perfectly honest. Great writer, done a lot of good stuff. Obviously, one of the co-creators of Venom here, Michelini. I don't know how you say it. Anyway, he's doing a signing. So we're getting a cameo of Venom is hitting the list. According to Tom, raw copies are going for around 100, 9.8, 750. These aren't way higher than what is typical for this book, this cameo of Venom. A3 Rivers, what's going on? But they are higher, and to me, this is just a classic. Oh, there's a reason people are chasing a book at the moment. Just go back later. Oh, there's a lot of analysis here. Obviously, this is a book attached to a character that is, in general, this, but that doesn't mean there's not ebbs and flows. Avoid a peak, look for a valley. I would be patient on this particular book, for sure. I'm really just straight cash on me. Long term, yes. Long term, it is obviously this. But short term, over the next few months, actually, more realistically, over the next few weeks, this book is probably, if people are actually chasing it for the reason they're talking about, it's probably going to be back a little cheaper if you're just patient, even a month after the signing. Like, if it's an artificial peak, then yeah, just kind of avoid that. So I would put this in, I'll be back. Hello, my man Perry, what is going on? Hey, cute kitty cat, what is going on? Cat's sleeping on the bed. She's ignoring me. So next, we got Met Cadet U. All right, this has been on the list a couple different times because it was announced it was a Netflix show. Then they changed it was going to be a Netflix animated show. And now we've gotten news that it actually is supposedly going into production or something. I don't know. This book, once upon a time, was, $30, $40 book. Now the peak here is 20. At 9.8 is only 75. I know 9.8s were over 100 at one point. And I still think this is probably, even at $20, do we really, how much of these Netflix shows really held once the shows come out. We're probably still a long ways from being, if it's an anime show and they just started working on it, we're like, what, year and a half, 2 years out. Looks intriguing. Could be a really good book, but I don't think ultimately a Netflix animated show is going to permanently move the needle on this. And I definitely don't think it's going to move the needle in the next 6 months. People are going to forget about the announcement again. It's going to be right back to the $10 book it's been, which technically makes it a trap. So yeah. Hey, happy Mojo, happy Sunday, happy Monday. I mean, wait, what? Yeah, we're a little out of our normal territory tonight for sure. But we're making it work. We're making it work. Man, hey, what is going on? He's asleep, but sorry I put him to sleep. I'm sorry. Next. Berserker #1. So we finally got issue 12, is what's really causing this to hit the list. And it's all of $6 and a 9.8 for 75. So really, it's $6. I mean, I get it. They're making an animated show out of this. They're making a live action movie, all of which we knew before this ever hit the shelf. And this was super high print release. People bought the crap out of this book, spec'd on this book before it ever came out. There's a crap ton of these out there. This book is nowhere near worth what it was when it first came out. Like, oh, it's gonna be a book. It's a $6 book right now. When it's hot, when there's a bump because we finally got the end of the story. Yeah, it's $6. But having said all that, it's $6. It's probably like, I don't even know. I don't think it really deserves a fist bump. It doesn't really deserve that. It's more of like, it really is really, yeah, whatever. If you're paying $6, you're paying slightly over cover. Okay. Whatever. I mean, I have no enthusiasm about, there might be some variants here that are worth something, but the A cover is never going to have a lot of value because it's just a crap ton of them. And yeah, print run. I think that's supposed to be Infinity. Yes, print run Infinity. Yeah. There might be some variant that ultimately like hits when the show comes out, but yeah, good luck picking the right one. But you can enjoy it. It doesn't mean that it's going to have value. Like, that's the thing I've never quite understood with collectors. In terms of, we don't always understand like the things we give value to. We don't always base value the way I think we should, in terms of if the story is really good, but if you can easily get it, it doesn't matter. If it's just a really good story you can easily get access to. That's fine. I can go to the library and get a really good book. And yeah, doesn't mean that the book is worth, that paperback's worth a ton. So yeah, being a good story doesn't necessarily, for reasons that kind of suck, doesn't always bring value. Value is like artificial scarcity, rarity, desire, or real in some cases. But yeah, so this one I don't think ever is going to have a ton of value. If there's anything worth it, and the key question is, the key part of that is if, and I'm not convinced any of it's really going to be worth a ton. It might be worth some, but a ton, no. Oh, cat poop. He says, yeah, it's cat poop. There you go. Next, a little James Tynion. We got Blue Book #2, the promo version. I guess they did there was a movie screening that they gave it out through, and I don't even remember what was the movie. Did I write it down? Given away at a screening, at an event. There was a movie screening for something. Was it Close Encounters? I don't know. Anyway, James Tynion gave away this cover at an event. And this sucker is going for $115 to $170. And I get Tynion's popular. There's probably not very many of these. But this book really has to matter. This book really has to hit. This story really has to hit in order to sustain $100+ value right after of an event giveaway. It really has to be good. I haven't heard anybody actually talk about it in this way. Maybe it is great. Maybe it's fantastic. Maybe it'll sustain readership. Maybe I'll be wrong. I'm guessing I'm right. I think you're talking $150 to $170. Maybe the 115 is not a trap, but the 170 is absolutely a trap. I'm sorry. I think way too much for this. I'm tempted to do dumpster fire. I'm be honest. I almost type dumpster fire, then I'd change it to trap, because Tinian does have a pretty good track record, but at the very least, this is a trap. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, closing. I was closing hands. Awesome things there. None really fell asleep on us. Charles didn't even like it. There you go. Yeah, remember Stray Dogs? It collapsed like crazy. Once we moved away from the series and everything else, I just have a hard time believing this. Even like 8 Billion Genies has fallen back. Think about how much Something's Killing Children fell back until we got the recent news. It had fallen back a ton until we got the recent news, and it's still going. Like, yeah, I don't believe that this is going to hold the way we think. Yeah. Right? These are the patterns that we need to like think about when we're chasing books. More than likely, you'll be able to get this for a lot less. Scary looking scary. All right, next. Image 30th Anniversary Anthology number 8 has a preview of James Tinian's new series that's coming out, World Tree. Okay. It's only doing $12 on average. 9.8 only doing 80. So that's a caveat to what I'm about to say in terms of like, so if you're paying $10 for this, okay, big, it's not a huge deal, but it's a preview of an indie comic that no one has read yet. The odds of, if that comic explodes, the odds of this preview still maintaining even like a high value are slim. Even if the comic explodes, because everybody's just going to want the number one. Also, that book's been highly ordered, so maybe this becomes some kind of want thing. But at the very least, like, the odds are against any of that. Like, the odds are against that book exploding and becoming highly valued. The odds of, like, you know how much people have to care about something to hunt the preview? Think about that. Think about that in your own collecting. How much do you have to care about something to not want the number one, but to want the preview? How many things that you've collected or read over the years have you been like, I need to get the preview? Like, I mean, not even worth a meh. Bruce was like, meh. That's good. Yeah. And I think, and it can be good, but it has to be, for the preview to hold value, it has to be amazing. It can't just be good. It has to be amazing. Because that's just another step of demand for collectors that like, oh, I gotta go. I love this so much. I'm willing to pay big money for the not for it, for the preview of it. It's a big step. It's a bigger step than you can think about. How much do those Strange Academy previews go for? I don't, Los, I haven't looked at those, but I don't think they go as much as like the number ones. I mean, they probably have some value, but that's a good question. I mean, how much? I don't know. To me, I think that's a stretch. I would be back on this. I would not be chasing it. Could be. But how rare are those examples? How rare is a Malibu Sun example? Not very many. Really not. Yeah. This is true. You're right. I got it right back there. DC Comics Presents, but it's also the first of those characters, and they're DC mainline characters that have been in TV shows, they've been in cartoons. Like, there's a lot that goes into sustaining a preview. And I don't know. I would lean against. There are examples. You guys have named a couple of them. DC Comics Presents, Malibu Sun. There are examples, but there's not many. Well, because Spawn is so overprinted. Yeah, there's so many of them. That's part of why Malibu Sun is a big thing. All right. Meow. Well, hello. The cat is here. Cute kitty cat. That'll make you happy. Next, we got Detective Comics 469. First appearance of Dr. Phosphorus. So apparently it took people a while to realize the image they put out like a month plus ago had Dr. Phosphorus in it for that Creature Commandos. It's like, duh. I don't know. But suddenly, I guess, who was it? Tom King or somebody made some comments about Dr. Phosphorus being a part of it and also part of a movie, which James Gunn said at the time that the Creature Commandos were going to be an animated series, but then probably appear in the movies too. Are you really already back at the door? You just came in. You're going to sit for a minute. Rock Hobby's 40. This is 1977. Oh my gosh. 9.2 150 is the recent high sale on a slab. Not a ton of slabs. I don't know that Dr. Phosphorus has any like kind of staying power. For me, this is absolutely just, yeah. I'll be back. It's not terribly overpriced, but I wouldn't chase it. I'm letting the cat back out because apparently she just wanted to like disturb the street. She's like, I'm gonna meow at you, so you let me in, and then I'm gonna meow at you, so you let me out. So there you go. Behind on comments again. First appearance of a Batman book, but it's got to be like, just because not all Batman villains are built the same. I actually kind of like Dr. Phosphorus. I do think this is kind of an underrated Batman villain book. It would have been a prime example for my little Let's Collect shorts until the spec, and I try to avoid the spec when I'm doing that. But yeah. There you go. Yeah, the exceptions that prove the rule. Yes, on that thing. So yeah, this is Dr. Phosphorus. I would just be back on this. It is kind of a fun book, a fun key that a lot of people don't realize or think about. But yeah, making better than Black Mass. I'll be honest. I probably do two, only because, not because they use him a ton. They clearly use Black Mass a lot more. I just find Black Mass. I don't find Black Mass to be a very compelling villain. Generally, generally the way he's written, that's just me. Like, I don't find him to be a hugely compelling villain. Dr. Phosphorus is at least a little bit interesting. Although they use Black Mass because he's a gangster way more. All right, next, we're going to make Unruly happy. We got Star Wars! Unruly now is really going to sleep. Star Wars number 42, first appearance of Boba Fett, having a little bit of a bounce back. So this book was crazy in the lead up to the Boba Fett show. Came crashing down post Boba Fett show. Now has bounced back a little bit with the return of Mandalorian season 3. I do think there's some people probably specking that maybe he shows up. I don't think he's necessarily going to, but maybe he shows up because Mando was in. I mean, he might show up, but I don't know that he's going to play a big role because Mando was in the Boba Fett season. Raw copies 280, which I'll be honest, I probably should have checked that because that's probably that average of 280 is probably high based on what Tom has a tendency to do with older books. So I probably should check that, but I didn't think about it till just now. 9.8, 1545, which is about half or a little less of the peak of where this book was at in the lead up. You're boring mob type. Yeah. You're not missing much. First Boba Fett. It's cool. Yeah. It is classic Star Wars. It's newer stuff. Obviously, longer term. This is straight cash. I do think it's probably like, I don't know. This actually, no. Yeah, I did put this as I'll be back. I debated on worth it or an I'll be back on this because this is kind of just a bounce back to a little bit from the crash following the show. So my guess is actually I should change this to probably worth it. Although those raw numbers I bet are wrong. So they're going to be distracting when you get into, like, that's probably going to mess with me when I actually do the price evaluation because I would guess, are you coming in or not? I ain't even by the door. Weird cat. He's a weird cat. But yeah, I'll leave it as an I'll be back. But I should probably let's just look. We're sitting here. Let's look. We'll do. What is it actually selling for raw side? Because I know that's high. I know that Tom's got one of those. Like he does this with older books, and where they say average sale, and it's like an average across all grades and graded and raw, and it's like that doesn't tell you anything. That's such a dumb. It tells you nothing. Like if you want average raws or average across Like, you can't do that. It doesn't, that's no information. An average of all sales is no information. Let's see. Raw copy 180, 262, 180, 100, 300, 280, 165, 180, 123, 150. So you're really looking at raw sales of 100 to 100 to 300, which is a realistic number. So the 280 is high if you're thinking about the average. Because the real average should be probably like 180. So we're going to change that right now. I'm going to put the real average as like, I'm going to do like 1 to 300. So I get the range down. And I'm going to make a comment. Because, yeah, that Tom said average 280. Tom said 280 was wrong. It's wrong. It's not useful. And I get even what I do, which is if I look at all the raw sales and I give you the range, isn't perfect because obviously they're in all different conditions. So yeah. Hey, Hugh range, what is going on? Cosmic Toby, what is happening? I have a Punisher. There you go. We got some Punisher at the end of this, but no, well, you know. Cargo pants in the cover. Oh, like weird. He does kind of like some weird cargo pants, doesn't he? I don't know what the goal is. My guess is they're getting those numbers from Nick. That Nick's doing that. And it's just not a useful number. Because they're getting the list and everything from Nick. Nick's doing all that research. My guess is he's just regurgitating what Nick is handing him to a certain degree. In terms of values and numbers. But that doing an average of all sales of that book, while easy, means nothing. A slab 9.8 average with a beat raw copy means nothing. Those are not comparable values. So, yeah. Hey, also card-carrying scientist. So, yeah. So, there you go. Yeah. So, I just find that annoying. Hey, I don't use average for anything because one number throws averages. Averages are crap in general. Unless you have a very tight distribution and average is worthless. We use median a ton because it's much more useful in the middle. But even that is not useful for this. So, all right, we're going to keep moving. Good book, long term. Maybe worth it right now. Probably borderline worth it, but I still listed it as an I'll be back. Next, we got, I scrolled over, so I don't know which book this is. Dr. Afer, number 19, from the most recent run, from the current run, not the original, her first volume, volume 2. This is a Spruce 50th anniversary variant, which is actually the first cover appearance of Bo-Katan. If you're watching The Mandalorian, you know she's been playing a major role in this. So that is why this has hit the list. And it's going for $4. 9.8 is going for $80. This is probably worth, it's going for cover price. There's just a bunch of sales because she's appearing in the current season. So yeah, worth it. Do I think it's going to jump in value? Probably not. It might come back and be like a $10 book, which will make me have to say, technically it was straight cash. It went up 100%. But based on the way I do it based on percentage of movement. But yeah, it's probably just worth it. If $4, who cares? A book I actually have. Unruly. We've lost Unruly. He's just gone. Yeah. It would be nice if he did a little better job. Do you get it at cover price? Oh, you got it at cover price, yeah. It's not worth the rating. Probably not. She's not in the book. It's just a cover appearance. She's not in the book. 100%. I try to at least be straightforward about what that means, but yeah. Oh, it'll bounce when he shows too. You're absolutely correct. Yeah. I paid cover price for that Afer book. I'm rich. Yeah, you can sell it for cover price. You won't have any trouble selling it for cover price. It's moving, but yeah. All right. Next. Yeah, here's your Punisher. Someone was mentioning Punisher earlier. We got Punisher 218. First appearance of Frank Castle in the War Machine armor. So that is the rumor that he is going to either in Daredevil Born Again or in Armor Wars is going to get the War Machine armor. So that's been a rumor bouncing around with John Bernthal coming back as Punisher. So that's why this book is hot. Raw copy's $50, 9.8, 175. And this is still borderline trap, in my opinion. Like, I don't think it'll come down that much because it is, but like these moments, this is not, he doesn't permanently keep the armor. He's not going to permanently keep the armor in the MCU. He's going to have it. There's going to be a scene with it, and then it's going to go away. We're ways out, so I think it's probably I'll be back until it actually happens. Then once it happens, this is a trap because no one cares after that. How much is that book, the first book, Iron Man with the Gauntlet? The moment of the MCU. That book is not worth near what it was when the movie came out. That's just the way this works. So yeah, I would definitely put this in I'll be back. This is not really a true key. So yeah. Meh, we got another meh. Yeah. I mean, that's just the rumor at the moment. So that's what people are chasing. People are chasing the rumor. And then last, we got like an actual decent Punisher book. We got Punisher #1 from the first Unlimited series. So not as technically his first even solo title, though. This is his first ongoing, which is like the third tier, plus a highly printed book. Raw copies are 40, 9.8, 300, which is only really slightly up on this book and what it normally does. My guess is this returns, though, to the mean, that this isn't like a new, well, this is not a new floor for this book. This book is going to, once we get away from the initial news, we're a year out at least from, it's going to be at least like this time next year before we get Born Again. Yeah, like between now and then, it's going to basically go back to where this book normally sets. So yeah, it's an I'll be back for sure. I mean, now, great book, awesome character, but the book has never carried a ton of value, and that value is probably, that long-term value is not really going to change based off this. And so, yeah, it's a good book. It's a good book to have. Well, they didn't shelve it. They moved it back like what I heard was they were moving it back like from May to like June or July. So it was starting a little later. They've basically decided to slow everything down. They felt like they were getting fatigue on their project, but yeah. Yeah. Like, this has never made sense to me. Because if he pulls that trigger, like, he's getting blown off that building. Like, and falling however far, whatever floor he's on, he's falling to the ground. Like, I realize he's got a rope that he's got in his one hand. Yeah, you're not holding on. No, I realize he's a comic book character, but no actual human being is holding on to that rope. Like, they're going flying and dying. Like, he might kill all the people in that room, but he's falling to the street. I mean, he's definitely overcompensating. Yeah. Everyone dies, including the hospital. Well, isn't that kind of Frank's way? Ripped off with all the shrapnel on the street. Yeah, there's just no way. Yeah. I mean, this guy's like, dude, just let me, I was just going to kill you, not everybody. So, yeah. All right. So we only had the 10 books. That's it. That's all 10 of them. You guys got my take. We'll see how wrong I am in 6 months. But yeah, not sure what's going on. If now CBSI is just going to stop doing it and Tom's going to be late, I may just switch to the cover price list. Maybe that'll make it easy for me. So definitely great book, great character. But yeah, it's going to return to what it is. This is not ultimately going to move the needle on that book, I don't think. So with that, I'm going to get out of here. I'm a little over. I know, although John's probably late. So, oh wait, they're on Justin's channel. So that's going to go for like 3 hours. So you're not going to miss much of Omni X-Men if you're a big fan of that. Otherwise, I will be back tomorrow night I have one more issue to read tonight, but I'm almost there. We're talking Deadly Class, Volume 6 tomorrow night here with Bearded Comic Bro, Greg, Haley, Chai Comic Girl, and Gore Vidal. We will be talking Deadly Class tomorrow night, Volume 6. So if you want to come back for that discussion, come join me. Later, everybody. And we're going to get out of here as soon as I find the exit ramp. Whoa, that's not the button I wanted to push. There it is. Later.